In this video, I'm going to show you how to upgrade the CPU inside a Polymega. The Polymega's all-in-one approach to playing a number of different consoles is a concept that I have always been a fan of, and unfortunately the system itself has had a rough go of it since its original announcement, with some people getting the unit back in 2021 and most getting it here at the tail end of 2023 just a couple months ago. That being said, the base system did a pretty good job of playing all of its included systems, including Saturn, PS1, Super Nintendo, Genesis, but with the release of the N64 Element module, performance isn't quite there for every game, especially the more demanding titles in N64 emulation. And for those titles in particular, upgrading the CPU in your Polymega is a very easy solution. The Polymega uses a standard CPU socket, so upgrades are literally drop-in replacements. And in this video, I'm going to go over how to do so. Now before we get started, I do take no responsibility if you are reckless and damage your Polymega systems trying to do this upgrade. I will point out specific areas where you may find cords being in your way or other things to pay attention to, but again, any damage you might cause to your system is all on you. You chose to do this upgrade, do know that there might be risks involved. So let's go ahead and dive in. So to begin the upgrade process of your Polymega CPU, you need to get a compatible replacement. So for today's video, we are using the i7-8700T. So this is an 8th gen i7, and it is a good fit for our Polymega to give us optimal performance. I'll have links to some relevant CPU upgrades down in the description below, so you can judge for yourself based on price which one you might want to use, but all of these will give better performance than the stock Celeron that is in the Polymega. Then of course you need the Polymega unit itself, and then a screwdriver kit. So let's go ahead and begin. So first thing that we need to do is remove any element modules that might be on the system. Very hard one-handed for some reason. Go figure. Alright. Then flip the Polymega over, and we have a few screws to remove, the first of which being right here in the center, and then if you lift up the feet on the Polymega itself, adhesive comes right up on mine, that's pretty nice. But we have 3 more screws here on the left. And 3 more on the right, so just get these all undone. Once you have all 7 screws out, we are ready to remove the top of the Polymega unit. So you don't have to worry about doing the SSD cradle here, which is nice, but anyway. Be very careful as you remove this top part. There are wires connected to it for the expansion port here, so just gently lift this up, and if you look inside, you can see the wires going to and from the expansion unit here. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is unhook the Wi-Fi antenna. It's kind of glued down, but it kind of just pops right off, so it's not too big of a deal. So just pull the glue off. There we go. And once that's disconnected, we can go ahead and move over to this one and disconnect it as well. And you are going to need something small to push this tab out of place, so that way you can slide it out. And then it just pulls right out. And we can move the top of the Polymega unit away and reveal our heatsink here with the Polymega exhaust fan. And that is where we are going to be focusing. So just going to go ahead and disconnect the fan first, so just be careful doing this so you don't break any of the wires off. There we go. And then we just need to get a Phillips screwdriver to unhook the 4 screws here. And once you have all of those unhooked, you can easily pull the fan out of place and heatsink. And we're going to need to clean this with some rubbing alcohol or other cleaning products, so just set that aside for the moment. And that unveils the CPU socket here for us to then replace the stock CPU with our upgraded one. So just slide the tray up, open it up, gently remove the old one as to not bend any of the pins underneath it, and then line the new one in place with the grooves, as you can see in the top right here, top left, I mean. So it just falls right into place. And then just latch it back in. So again, make sure you get that heatsink and fan cleaned off before trying to apply thermal paste to your new CPU. And once ready, just apply a new layer of thermal paste. So for today, we're using MX6 from Arctic Silver. So I always like to do the pea-sized dot in the middle. And then with whatever's left on the tip, I kind of just dab it on the corners to make sure there is some thermal paste there. And then you can spread it around if you want to, but thermal paste. There's 100 different methods for 100 different people, so just do what you're comfortable with. And once you have the thermal paste applied, just go ahead and get the fan situated back in its proper spot and get it screwed down. So best methodology would be to do corner to corner, so that way you could get even tension across the whole thing. From here, get your fan plugged back in. And there we go. Next, we're going to go ahead and get the top plate reattached, so we're going to get that Wi-Fi antenna hooked back up and the expansion module wired back in. I like to just kind of lean it up against the back like this, and then just get the wires reattached. So pull it up just a bit. There we go. So now we can just go ahead and slide this back into position here. Done. And as for the Wi-Fi antenna, it hooks up to the one here that says main. And if you need to remove the glue, feel free to. Might help you see it easier. Alright, so there we go. We got that reattached. Perfect. So now we just need to line the top plate back up with the bottom half. And that'll get the port here to realign with the one on the motherboard. And we'll be good to go. So you can see here, we got it all realigned. And we just slide it down. Another area to make note of is to make sure that you have this fan grill aligned as well, otherwise the case might not shut correctly, so just be aware of that. But once you have everything set and in place, just go ahead and reattach the torque screws onto the bottom of the unit. With all the screws back in place, we just need to get our rubber feet back in, and as you can see, there is a key on how these attach, so just line it up, and then just flatten it back down, and the adhesive ought to be enough to keep them in place still. So there we go. And then the same thing for the other side. There we are. And good to go. So there we have it, Polymega now reassembled. And we can attach our element modules and begin to test out our new CPU upgraded system. Alright, so let's go ahead and give this a quick test. Gonna boot it up. I don't really expect to see much of a benefit from the CPU upgrade on boot up, but you never know. Alright, so let's load into some N64 games, as that is where this CPU upgrade is going to see the most benefit with the current Polymega system availability, because there's maybe a couple Saturn games that drop some frames, but N64, this was a big one here. So I want to do Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo, just to see what kind of boost we're going to get here. Alright, so first signs are looking good, no stuttering during that intro, but let's get into a level.
This is Captain Pikmonoh.
You are under arrest.
Alright, so again, so far so good. It's feeling very smooth. No audio stutters to be found. Explosion effects aren't causing problems.
Take much more of this.
But we'll know for sure right here in this section, these Droid Decca plus the Fountain of Doom are great for benchmarking some N64 emulation on quick means, I should say. Now during this part with the base Polymega CPU, I didn't really find many performance hits, but the audio cutout was noticeable at a number of points, and depending on the playthrough, it changed depending on what you were looking at, obviously. But this is sounding great so far, not a single dropout to be found. And now for Fountain of Doom, no stuttering or slowdowns, excellent. So, this is one of the most demanding games in N64 emulation, and we are getting solid performance out of this CPU upgrade as expected, so very nice. So for anyone wanting to use N64 emulation on the Polymega, and you wanted to make sure to get the best performance possible and you're looking for a CPU upgrade, it does the job. But there you have it, the easy CPU swap for the Polymega system. And as you can see, it has helped performance on N64 emulation with the system quite considerably. There are no audio cutouts in any titles that used to exhibit it in my testing over the last 2 hours. Now that being said, N64 isn't the only system that'll benefit from having a better CPU. They will all benefit, and any future element modules will likely do so as well. But thank you again for watching today's video. Just the usual favors here at the end. Hit that thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on how much you like today's video, as well as that sub button notification bell so you can see when new videos go live on the channel. Lots coming your way, and I'm always happy to have you along for the ride. For anyone interested in further helping support the channel and keep it going, also be sure to check out that join button here on YouTube or the Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, as every little bit helps keep this place going. Thank you to all of our current backers, you're amazing. Thank you for believing what we do here and helping us keep it going. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome, keep on gaming, and we'll see you back next video.